Hi, it's Chef Mike from 18 Reasons. I'm coming to you today with a really quick message about something you can do to make cooking much easier and much more fun. It's a very simple step that everyone should take much more often than they probably do. My question to you is, do you know what this is? This is one of my favorite tools in the kitchen. People call it a knife sharpener. It is not. It is called a honing steel, and it doesn't sharpen knives, but it is probably best used at a minimum of once a week. It hones your knife, and the difference between honing and sharpening is this. When you sharpen a knife, you remove steel from both sides of the blade in order to reform the edge. And that is necessary infrequently, but when it's time, it's something you need to do. But it's something you shouldn't do too often. If you have one of the manual or electric grinding knife sharpeners, I would be very hesitant to use that very often because it does remove metal every time you use a knife sharpener. And what that means is that this knife, at the end of a year of too much sharpening, will look more like this knife because you're removing metal every time you sharpen it. The honing steel, the steel, only removes little tiny bits and pieces of metal. You can hone your knife 3 times a day and not impact the life of the knife. So honing is really important. So I'm going to show you how to hone your knife. You're going to get a honing steel and set it on a cloth straight up and down. And then take the knife that you want to hone. You want to hold it at a 15-degree angle to the honing steel. Now, I'm a cook. I got cook brain. I'm not really sure on 15 degrees, but I can tell you that that's 90 degrees. And half of 90 is 45. Half of 45 is 22 and a half, and I'm going to move in a little bit from there. And I'm going to put the base of the knife against the steel, and I'm going to push really hard with my finger. I'm pushing the blade of the knife against the steel. And I start at the base, and I pull back. Then I put my arm on the other side of the steel, the same 15-degree angle, and I use the power of my arm to hold the blade against the steel, and I pull back. And I do that about 3 times, alternating sides. And when I'm done doing that, it is amazing the impact it has on your knife. Because a sharp knife blade looks something like this. And as you use the knife starts getting bent. So if you haven't honed your knife in a couple of days, it might look more like this. And if you haven't honed your knife in the last week, it might look like this. And if you haven't honed your knife in the last month, your knife might look like this. And if you've never taken your steel out and used it since the last time you saw Star Wars and had too many beers, your knife blade probably looks something like this. But when you're done honing your knife, honing brings all those edges, all those teeth back into alignment. And it makes your knife an effective tool once again. So hone your knife. Hone your knife every day before you start cooking. You'll be amazed at the difference. If your knife could talk to you, my knives talk to me. If your knife could talk to you, they would thank you so much for honing them. So don't hesitate. Hone your knife and enjoy your cooking even more.